Floyd Mayweather's dominant performance against John Gotti III showcased his superiority in the ring, but it was clear that the victory itself wasn't the main event of the night.
Shot at Floyd, take a shot at Floyd. Constantly be disrespectful. Constantly be disrespectful. When all I ever been was...
The real drama unfolded backstage when a furious Gervonta attacked Davis. After months of heated exchanges with Floyd Mayweather, attacked his former mentor immediately following the exhibition match. Tensions between the two had been escalating ever since Mayweather's criticisms of Davis, and this latest incident seems to have pushed things to the breaking point.
Fight each other. I'm putting that on the table. Gervonta versus Floyd. We can cut all the
The boxing world has always been a stage for high drama, and the rematch between Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti III was no exception. But what unfolded in the ring was far from what fans expected. This was more than just another exhibition bout. It was the continuation of a saga that started with their first encounter, a match that had ended in a wild, chaotic brawl. The anticipation for this rematch was palpable, with many expecting another explosive showdown. Instead, what they got was a demonstration of Mayweather's enduring dominance and tactical brilliance, albeit in what could arguably be called the most uneventful fight of his illustrious career. Mayweather, always the master of the ring, controlled the pace from the opening bell. His movements were fluid, his jabs precise, and his defense impenetrable. Gotti, despite his best efforts, found himself outclassed, unable to penetrate Mayweather's defense or land any meaningful punches. The fight, stretched over 8 rounds, was a one-sided affair. Mayweather's footwork was impeccable as he danced around his opponent, landing combinations with ease, while Gotti's attempts were either dodged or blocked with effortless precision. The audience, though appreciative of Mayweather's skill, couldn't help but feel a sense of anticlimax. The tension that had built up before the fight fizzled out, replaced by the realization that this would not be the thrilling spectacle many had hoped for. By the end of the 8 rounds, it was clear to everyone who the victor was, even though the exhibition rules meant there would be no official winner declared. The two fighters embraced after the final bell, with Mayweather smiling and speaking to the crowd. Ever the showman. "We had to put on a show for the people," he said, thanking Gotti for being a man of his word. Gotti, still respectful despite the loss, admitted he still got it. But while the crowd and the media were dissecting Mayweather's performance, the real drama was brewing behind the scenes. Unbeknownst to the audience, the tension had been simmering for months between Mayweather and his former protégé, Gervonta Davis. Once a close mentor-mentee pair, their relationship had soared, devolving into a bitter feud marked by public jabs and personal grievances. The feud, long festering, finally boiled over in a shocking backstage altercation. As Mayweather made his way backstage after the fight, Davis, who had attended the match, was waiting. The two had exchanged barbs over social media and in interviews for months, with Davis chafing under the shadow of his former mentor. Mayweather, never one to shy away from a confrontation, had publicly criticized Davis's discipline and fight choices, claiming that Davis's rise was largely due to his guidance. Davis, in turn, accused Mayweather of being egotistical and of trying to control every aspect of his career. The backstage encounter quickly escalated when Mayweather reportedly made a snide comment as he passed by Davis. In an instant, Davis lunged at Mayweather, fists flying. Security intervened, but not before Davis landed a few hard punches. Witnesses described the scene as a full-blown physical altercation, not just a heated argument. It was clear that the bad blood between the two had reached its boiling point, and there was no turning back. The build-up to this confrontation had been long in the making. Leading up to the Gotti rematch, tensions between Mayweather and Davis had been evident to those following the sport closely. Davis had been vocal about his disdain for Mayweather's recent string of exhibition matches, dismissing them as mere sideshows and criticizing Mayweather for no longer facing real contenders. Mayweather, for his part, had questioned Davis's loyalty and attitude, painting a picture of a young fighter who couldn't handle the pressures of fame without his guidance. As the insults flew back and forth, it became increasingly clear that a confrontation was inevitable. But few could have predicted it would happen so dramatically, and with such intensity. Backstage at the Gotti rematch, the sparring sessions between Moten and Davis, which took place when Moten was just 15 or 16 years old, have become the stuff of legend in boxing circles. Moten, despite his youth, held his own against Davis, earning the respect of those who witnessed the sessions. "It was fun, and I was ready for him," Moten has said, recording the experience with a confidence that belies his age. That sparring session, though years ago, has taken on new significance as Davis and Moten's paths seem destined to collide once again, this time in a more formal setting. Davis, for his part, has never hidden his frustration with Mayweather. What began as a promising mentorship has devolved into a bitter rivalry. The cracks in their relationship began to show as Davis grew more independent, asserting his desire to carve his own path in the sport. But Mayweather, always a control freak, wasn't about to let that happen without a fight. Their public feuds, particularly on social media, have been as much about ego and control as they have been about boxing. And now, with Moten in the picture, the tension between Davis and Mayweather has reached a point of no return. For Mayweather, Moten represents the ultimate revenge against Davis. A young fighter who embodies everything Mayweather values and who he believes can surpass what Davis has accomplished. Mayweather has made it clear that he sees Moten as the future of boxing, and he's doing everything in his power to ensure that future is bright. But for Davis, the clock is ticking. He knows that Mayweather is positioning Moten to take his place, and the only way to stop that is to face Mayweather head-on. The animosity between the two has reached such a level that a fight between them feels almost inevitable. It's not just about settling scores in the ring. It's about proving who is truly the best and who can stand on their own without the other. The fight between Mayweather and Davis, should it happen, would be one of the most anticipated matchups in recent boxing history. It would be a clash of generations, a battle between a legend and his former protégé, and a test of whether the young lion can finally dethrone the old king. And with Moten looming in the background, the stakes have never been higher. Mayweather, even in retirement, remains a master tactician, both in and out of the ring. His every move is calculated, and his partnership with Moten is no different. He has publicly stated that he believes Moten has the potential to be a teenage world champion, and he's not shy about pushing for big fights to prove it. For Mayweather, this isn't just about promoting a new star. It's about cementing his legacy and showing the world that he still has what it takes to mold a champion. But for Davis, this is about more than just boxing. It's about vindication. He's often been compared to Mayweather, not just in terms of his fighting style, but in his brash, larger-than-life persona. And while Davis has risen to stardom under Mayweather's guidance, he's now determined to prove that he can surpass his mentor and forge his own legacy. The idea of a showdown with Mayweather isn't just a fantasy. It's something Davis has openly embraced, even claiming that he could beat Mayweather in the ring. If this fight were to happen, it would be an unprecedented clash of two generations. Mayweather, now retired and focused on exhibition matches, would be stepping back into the ring against a fighter very much in his prime. Davis, known for his knockout power and ferocity, would be facing a version of Mayweather that is no longer in his physical prime, but still possesses the ring IQ and defensive prowess that made him one of the greatest of all time.